Hello and welcome to my four-part video event, I guess, because today Doctor Who Season 25 was released on Blu-ray. A very quick bit of backstory. Remembrance of the Daleks was my first Doctor Who VHS tape I watched in 1996 when I was 3 years old. So I hold it very dear to my heart. I'll always be biased towards it. It'll always be faultless. It'll always be the greatest nostalgia trip for me. So when this box set was announced, I was very excited. I'd also never attended the BFI pre-screenings before, so I thought I was going to jump at this opportunity. Even though they were showing the Happiness Patrol, I thought there's no better time to get in on the celebration. And I had a great time, but I will touch upon that in the next video when we look at the Happiness Patrol. But this video is primarily just Remembrance of the Daleks and my thoughts on the special edition cut only. Without further ado, let's get into Remembrance of the Daleks special edition. So I'm just going to go through the story and pick out bits that have been added, bits that have been extended and updated with special effects, and give my thoughts on them, and then give my verdict overall. So the episode begins with Rachel obviously walking into shot, and I've not watched the broadcast version in a little while, so I might get things wrong, but I'm just going off the top of my head, and I think they've used an alternate cut here where she puts a sweet in her mouth and she starts chewing a sweet, and I think she tells a child off, which I don't think is in the original broadcast, so that was very nice to see. What I really love about this special edition is what they've done with the soundtrack and just the sound effects in general. It feels as if they've taken them all out and totally overhauled every bit of sound that goes off. Everything sounds a little bit different, but it's a positive change. I feel it's enhanced, whereas some of the material that they've added in feels a bit out of place, so it makes sense why it was cut, and I feel like in some instances it just doesn't work. It just feels a bit, the pacing's off. So I'm gonna jump over the Totter's Lane scene and go straight to one that really stands out to me after watching it. When Ace and the Doctor get into the van, there's a little bit of extra dialogue which is included to suggest where they're going, and there's a brand new shot of the van pulling up outside Coal Hill School, which is great. At this point I was like, this is fantastic. However, when we get to the cliffhanger of part 1, when the Doctor and Ace go down into the basement and discover the transmat, which I may say, the visual effects on that scene in particular was great. Even the Dalek going up the stairs has been replaced with a CGI Dalek, and it looks really, really good. It's done very well. However, when the cliffhanger takes place and we come back in episode 2, the segment where the Daleks come up the stairs and Ace unlocks the door, that has been chopped and changed, and I don't know why, because to me the original carry on point, or start to episode 2, was perfect. So what they've done here is hopefully you've seen it, but what they've done is they've added a few more exterminates, a few more cutting back and forth, and the Doctor no longer pulls back the headmaster's ear to discover the communication device and then scarpers off. What happens now is the Doctor falls out the door, they get up and run, and the Dalek blows up the door straight away, which to me it felt a bit rushed, and in the original cut you've got that tension of the Daleks coming, get out of there. But with this, also the way the music crescendos think that's, I don't know if that's the right phrase, but the way it builds up to the door getting blown out in the original broadcast, I thought that worked so well. And because they've chopped and changed it, the music builds up while the Dalek is there and talking, and then it comes to a climax as the Doctor's outside approaching the military vehicle, and that really took me out of it. And at this point I was like, oh, I don't know if I like where we're going here. A bit like what they did with the Daleks colorized. There were good elements, but there was also some choppy changes that just didn't work. Now, some of the things I really liked, and one of the minor things that I kept saying to myself was, I hope they've updated the Daleks' dome lights on the Renegade Supremes, because they were very poorly edited on the original broadcast, and thankfully they have, and it looks lovely. That might be jumping ahead a little bit too far, but I want to pull it back a little bit and just comment on the following cliffhanger. So the cliffhanger of part 2, when Ace beats up the Dalek with a baseball bat, runs down the stairs. There's a few extended and additional shots of the Imperial Daleks which are really nice, but when we get to the bit when she's being surrounded, there's a few more shots of the Daleks gliding in, and it looks really good. It was really nice to see them. I'm sure the footage is out there somewhere, but I'd never seen them. It was a nice surprise, and I approve. However, we then move on to a few shots that I didn't like. So, on board the Dalek shuttle, they've updated a shot of an Imperial Dalek coming out of like an elevator onto the main deck, or the bridge of the ship, but they've replaced the Dalek with a CGI Dalek. And I mean, I understand in the original broadcast the prop Dalek struggled getting out of the compartment, but the CGI Dalek looked awful in this shot, so it really wasn't worth putting in. And there was a few other moments where some of the Dalek dialogue has been re-recorded by God knows who, but they didn't sound very much like a Dalek, so I was a little bit taken out there and a little bit disappointed. However, it's all made up with various shots, like the shuttle taking off, the shuttle landing before that, and the special weapons Dalek coming out before the cliffhanger. There's a few different takes and angles of the Doctor saying, I've miscalculated, which was fantastic. I really want to just summarise it as a whole, because I can't go over the whole episode, but I feel when it finished, I said to myself, I still would prefer to watch the original broadcast over the special edition, which pains me to say, being such a fan, but at the same time I do really appreciate what they've done, what they've given us here. And the nice thing is with the box set is that obviously you get the original broadcast on disc 1 and the special edition on disc 2, so you have both versions. So if you fancy, oh, let's give the special edition a rewatch, you can. And I would definitely love to show it to people that have not seen it before and get their reaction to it, because like I say, it just adds a little bit more to it. So overall, it was a great watch. I was really looking forward to it. And that actually reminds me, the cafe scene, the extended scene, having the Doctor leave after having 2 sips of a cup of tea just made the scene feel so rushed, whereas in the original broadcast it cuts while he's mid-drinking with, what's he say? Life's like that. Sometimes you just gotta get on with it. Something like that. I can't remember. But it was nice how it just cut there, so you were left knowing that the Doctor's just in there having a cup of tea. But whereas in the special edition, he's in, a couple of sips, and out. And yeah, yeah, I don't know. But overall, like I say, I still think the broadcast version is better, but the special edition is most welcome. However, next video we're looking at the Happiness Patrol, Yes, it is the Happiness Patrol. And I think that is the one that has gotten the most budget. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to passing my thoughts over in the next video. So join me next time and we'll be looking at Happiness Patrol from Doctor Who Season 25, the collection box set. See you then.